Hi everyone, welcome. I am Colin Hanks with the Oracle Applications Users Group. Welcome everyone to this session of OAUG e-learning, public sector and higher education, moving your ERP system to the Oracle Cloud. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a couple housekeeping items. You will be on mute throughout this presentation. If you would like to ask a question, please type it into the questions box on your control panel and we will answer them at the end of the session as time permits. Once the presentation has concluded, we will read the questions back. We are recording this session. It will be available on the OAUG website within 24 hours, so please look for that. Now I'd like to introduce your presenter, Tom Simkis with Creoal Consulting. Tom, how are you today?
Doing very well. Thank you very much for the introduction. How's everybody doing out there? Hope you're having a great day. We're going to be talking about Oracle Cloud today for the next 30 to 40 minutes, so there should be plenty of time for questions at the end if any folks do have them. Go through the agenda. Talk a little bit about myself. I'll give you guys a brief overview of who I am and why I am giving this webinar. Then I'll talk a little bit about my company, Creoal Consulting. We're going to talk about Oracle Modern Best Practices, which is the key driver behind delivering value in the cloud. Those are some things that are created by Oracle that are freely available to the public and can kind of educate you on what is available and what steps you may wish to take in your cloud journey. And then we'll review some of the Oracle ERP cloud solutions that are based on the Modern Best Practices, again, how they relate to public sector and also to higher education. So a little bit about myself. My name is Thomas Simkis. I'm a CPA and a lawyer. I'm based out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Been doing Oracle consulting for about 20 years. Prior to that, I was an accountant. So I've been an end user of the Oracle application, started out on release 10.7, and I've been a consultant from 10.7 all the way up to 12.2.5 on the EBS side. I started doing cloud probably about 5 years ago. I worked on the first cloud implementation of financials and HCM in North America. Since that time, I've done 15 full-cycle cloud ERP implementations, a lot of different roles as an architect, project manager, and a business analyst. I've also been involved in a number of CX or sales cloud implementations as well. So the total number of cloud implementations is really north of 30, but 15 full-cycle ERP. I'm also an Oracle ACE associate. ACE is a designation given by Oracle to members of their community that make contributions as a presenter, writer, or other method of contribution. I was nominated as an ACE 2 years ago, and it's really been a great honor to me to continue to represent Oracle in that regard. Co-chair of the Multinational Special Interest Group. I'm also just joined the Public Sector Interest Group as a member of the OUG. OUG just had their 2017 Collaborate Conference in Las Vegas last week. If you were unable to attend, many of those sessions will be available online, and the OUG usually has a Best of Collaborate series over the summer, so you can get to see some of those great presentations that were available in Vegas last week from your desktop, just like we're doing here. Prior experience, I worked as a runner of a company called Aces High Consulting. I was the director of Cloud ERP and consulting at De Novo Corporation, and I was also a principal with a company called BizTech for about 12 years. All right, enough about me. Talk a little about Creoal Consulting. Creoal is headquartered in Bethesda, Maryland. We focus on applications and technology in the public sector and also the federal space. We have developed our own innovative toolkits to integrate Oracle with third-party solutions such as credit card providers, and have done some really great things with tokenization and credit cards in the federal space. We are a gold partner, close ties to Oracle licensed sales development and consulting. We've worked with Oracle hand in hand on developing solutions for the federal and public sector space since 2005. Okay, so that's enough about Creoal and me. Let's get to the meat of what we're trying to accomplish. We'll talk about some Oracle Modern Best Practices first. Oracle Modern Best Practices are things that Oracle has shared with the community. I'll go through some material that Oracle has been kind enough to share with me and what they are and how they relate to the cloud solution. So today's goals, what do we want to achieve? This really is an introductory webinar. I'll mention at the end of the session the details, but there are 2 additional sessions that we're doing in this series. And the goal of today's session is an introduction to modern best practices for those folks not familiar with them, and how they can be valuable and how they can help streamline your approach to your usage of your ERP system, and through usage of that system, how you can transfer your current on-premise solution to the cloud. So what are the modern best practices, and where do they come from, and what are they? The modern best practices are designed to support transformation and use and adoption of technology to transform your business. So the idea behind it is you will leverage the processes that Oracle has laid out over the years, using their best-in-breed, not only software, but also approach to utilizing that software, so that you're not creating your own custom business process, but leveraging what Oracle has done before you so that you can maximize the value of your software investment. So, where are these things at? So, they're available on the web. If you go in and you Google best practices, it comes up. It's one of the first 5 search terms. Oracle Modern Best Practices were released about 3 years ago. And in that time, Oracle has had roughly 2 million hits to that web page. The Oracle doesn't use AdWords. It's just people searching for better ways to do things and coming across their website. Perfectly free, as I said, you don't even have to be an Oracle customer. You can certainly go out there, and a lot of materials that I'll share with you today are available for you to utilize. So whether you're starting your cloud journey or planning on your cloud journey, or not thinking about the cloud at any time soon, you can certainly utilize these modern best practices in your business to add immediate business value. So once you Google modern best practices, you can find them, and then you can utilize these. These things are open to all. They're available for download. The thing that I think is most informative on that website is there's a number of videos that Oracle has done to talk about how to utilize these process flows and how you can adopt them to your business. So what are they? They're next generation processes, and really what that means is they are ways of looking at your system, not necessarily from a modular basis, but really from how do you want to utilize or transact in your procure-to-pay model. The flows cover financials, they cover student admissions, they cover planning and budgeting, many areas that are applicable to you as a user and as an organization. So what Oracle tries to do is they kind of open them up to use cases, but they are application agnostic. They certainly map very well to the Oracle Cloud applications, but they really are agnostic, and it's a use as a guideline for you to determine how you should run your cycles, and whether that's financials, whether it's customer experience, whether it's HCM, order to cash, or supply chain management. So they're enablers. Oracle Modern Technology, these are some things that Oracle's come up and they've embedded into their cloud application. So the cloud means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. It can certainly mean software as a service, and what we'll be talking about for the rest of today will be software as a service and Oracle's modern cloud applications, the ERP suite, HCM, and of course the CX suite as well. But it's mobile. Oracle Cloud applications certainly support mobile applications, and that doesn't just mean on your phone or tablet via an application. The applications are built to enable access and usage of the information that's available to you via a mobile device. So you don't have to be at your desk to get your job done any longer. You can do it anywhere that you can connect to the web. And analytics are built in. Anytime you go to Oracle Cloud application screen, and certainly if you go to the modern best practices, you'll see a number of screenshots and videos that include a great example of the analytics that are pre-built into the Oracle Cloud applications. Social is also built in, and by social we don't necessarily mean Facebook or Instagram. but social that is useful. So using the cloud applications, you can have conversations within the Oracle Cloud apps relating to journal approval, hiring an employee, moving a process, or product innovation. And those products and conversations stay there, fully auditable, fully upgradable, so as your application upgrades, it will go along with you. Of course, the Internet of Things and big data, those are new terms. They've been around. Oracle's been speaking about the Internet of Things and big data for quite some time, and they have solutions that address those as well. So if you're a higher education facility or a public sector that has those concerns, it's certainly a great solution for you. They integrate Internet of Things with mobile quite well. The City of Los Angeles actually just rolled out a really great looking mobile website that allows users to connect directly with their congressman and their local councilman, and that data is captured within the Oracle Cloud application so that they can determine what's most important. All right, so that's just a high-level introduction to these modern best practices. What we're going to do now is just drill down into some of the solutions that Oracle's put out there for the spaces that we're covering today, and that is public sector and higher education. And my intention is to give you guys a high-level overview. I'll certainly drill down on some of them more than others, but I just wanted to give the audience a flavor of what's out there and then discuss how these things are useful in adoption of cloud applications. So the Cloud ERP solutions, what are we looking at? From a higher ed standpoint, Oracle has modern best practices focused on admissions, finance, procurement, project accounting, student affairs, and of course business intelligence. And these overlap quite nicely. On the public sector side, I listed enterprise planning and budgeting, mostly because in my experience with public sector clients, the budgeting cycle and creation of your funds and allocation is one of the key components that they look for. It certainly has planning and budgeting for higher education as well. So the lists on the left and right are not necessarily mutually exclusive, but they're certainly complementary. But they also have specific business flows that cover finance, procurement, project accounting, and business intelligence that are specifically related to public sector. And that means that Oracle's developed predefined dashboards, reports, budgeting flows, and transactional guidance that allow users in those particular areas to get the best value out of their cloud applications investment. So, what do they have available on the admission side from a higher ed space? Oracle allows you to capture data from various sources. So whether you want to load data from local SAT or ACT scores, or transact and load data from folks that come to your website, Oracle allows you to do that and bring that data in. That's, of course, part of the social and website listening. You can research your prospective students, nurture those students, and then obviously go to generate a lead. And by generate a lead, that is a customer experience terminology, and that's really where these modules live. So when we look at modern best practices and we look at the cloud applications, we tend to look at these implementations really more as an implementation of a process flow than a set of modules. But at the end of the day, the modules are the tools that we use. So when we talk admissions, we are talking about using the Oracle Sales Cloud, but the flows that we utilize are these digital student to lead down to student lead to application. Once we get that lead, we can capture it using Oracle Sales Cloud, qualify it in a lot of different ways, whether that's evaluating their rank, again, making sure that the data that we gathered earlier about that student, the ACT or the SAT scores, or other things are meaningful to that student and meaningful to the university in admitting them. So, little interesting fact that companies are using data more and more. Universities are, certainly cities are trying to capture data so they make sure that they can have their user base or constituents get a better access and better usage of information. So 81% of best-in-class companies are using lead management tools. So some form of CRM or some sort of tool to capture leads and do things with them. And 60% of those best-in-class companies are trying to target their customers using specific information that they gather via social or other means so that they're getting the most bang for their buck. So certainly universities and even cities want to make sure that they target the users that they want, and they target their potential customers, or in this case students, in a way that certainly presents the university in the best fashion and draws the best candidates to that university. Finally, once you get the student to the school, you want to make sure you retain them. So Oracle has process flows and tools that allow the students to interact with the system, give you guys data, and of course you can take actions on that data. And data is only good, or as good as the actions from which you can take from it. So, I ask customers all the time that tell me that they want to build a dashboard or they want to build a report. My first question is what are you going to do with it? So if somebody says, I want to know, what is my average cost per student? Okay, great. I can certainly get that for you. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to act upon it? And the answer is no. I don't necessarily try to talk them out of it, but I do try to have them force rank what the requirements are to have those things that they want to take action upon, so that those are moved up to the top of their list. So we covered student affairs. Let's talk a little bit about business intelligence. And the reason I went to business intelligence next is because really that's an area that overlaps quite nicely with the solution that we have in place. So starting from your left to the right, you can see your year-to-date revenue if you are a public sector or if you're the CFO of a particular university. So these CFO dashboards are something from my institution. We took an annual report, multiplied the revenue and expenses by 5/12. And what this says is this is what my year-to-date revenue would look like if I project it out through the year. We can then take that same set of data and drill down. So we drilled down on that $2.6 million and we broke it down a little bit further. And that takes us to a different dashboard. And really the thing about Oracle Cloud, it's 100% configurable. If you're a person that would rather have seen data in a tabular form that you could look at and analyze on your own, you can certainly do that. Cloud, to quote one of my old bosses, really does focus on the power of and. So you can have tables and graphs, or certainly just information as you want it seen, and then have it summarized. And the nice thing is it is all integrated, so you can continually drill down and get different views depending on what story you're trying to tell. So if we want to look at what's making up that student tuitions and fees, we can drill down to the next level and see the different breakouts. And we have some really nice charts and graphs. And again, this is embedded within the applications. There's a really nice BI feature that is native to the Oracle Cloud solution. But there's also a separate BI repository that Oracle gives you that if you wanted to capture and retain data that wasn't necessarily in your Oracle Cloud system, again, data that comes from the social site that you have set up, you can certainly do that and put dashboards on it and have those dashboards look and feel the same as that information is native to the Oracle ERP Cloud. Next, we're going to focus on finance. On the left-hand side, we have those functions that are typically considered within the finance realm. Quick side note, requisition to receipt is really addressing purchasing or procurement, but depending upon if you're buying goods or services or buying inventory items, requisitioning can certainly be considered a finance function. So you can start out with your budgeting, whether you start your budgeting in enterprise performance management, or if you have a tool that's already in place and you want to load it in the cloud applications, you certainly have the tools and methods to do that. Define your strategic plan, define your targets. You can have multiple scenarios in cloud, so you can certainly have an operating plan, a strategic plan, consolidate those different plans, slice and dice them out, approve those budgets, and then use them for forecasting and monitoring. The key thing about the cloud is, A, it is configurable. So that means even though Oracle has given us these modern best practices to use as a template, I always like to say the modern best practices are really useful for the 80-20 rule, meaning we really try to ask our clients to map their business requirements to the functionalities presented in the modern best practices, so that we're not gathering requirements and redesigning your to-be processes from scratch. We have, and Oracle's been good enough to do it for us, and they gave us these great tools. And we're really just trying to solve for the 20% that differentiates your university or your county or your state or your city from the others and puts you above the rest. And those are the changes that we put in, and that's where we really focus from a Creoal perspective on our implementations. So we've got process flows in here for budget to approvals, as we just looked at, supplier invoice to payment. Oracle's got functionality around managing supplier invoices that's completely automated. Automated invoice scanning is baked into the cloud. You can scan your invoices in batches or one at a time, have them route automatically to the appropriate personnel or departments, have them match to a purchase order if you use procurement, or have them coded automatically if you use something called distribution sets based upon where the department is utilizing that invoice. Manage your prepayments, your discounts if you're appropriate them, and settle your liabilities. Oracle is fully compliant with encumbrance accounting if your school needs to do that, and it can certainly manage your funds. So we can ensure that your accounts payable invoices are coded to the appropriate fund or fund level and tracked against according to your budgets. And your close schedule can be completely automated. So the process of closing the periods, running your financial reports to tie up your system, and transmitting information to those people that need it is 100% automated if you want. Bank statement cash position, Oracle's approach to financial reconciliation or treasury management. Using cash management, you can do your cash reconciliations, you can do your cash forecasting, and you can also do your initiation of activities. So if you have multiple accounts across your locality, a disbursements account and a specific receipts account, and you like to have those funds managed, you can do that. Oracle can handle that for you and make sure that certain accounts maintain a minimum or a maximum cash value. Send those requests to the bank to level those funds, all without interaction by person, if that's the way you'd like to run your organization. Of course, Oracle handles asset acquisition and retirement. That really means fixed assets. Oracle's got separate solutions if you need to do property management or asset maintenance. This is a financial flow, so really just talking about tracking capital assets, assigning depreciation or amortization if they are intangibles. You can dispose of those assets, all automated within the system, and of course manage insights. So you can see which of your assets are performing according to your expectations, which need to be monitored and perhaps disposed of, and you can also track your assets by location. So if you're a large state or county and you have a number of fixed assets, Oracle does have a complete solution for you to allow you to track and dispose of your assets all within the same streamlined integrated application. Next, we're going to talk a little about general ledger. So Oracle calls this flow the daily close of financial forecast. And really, Oracle does support daily close. So if you are in a high volume locality and it's important to you to know how you are doing on your collections or disbursements on a daily basis, Oracle supports close on a daily basis, transferring your subledgers to the GL and allowing you to do your detailed set of analyses. The dashboards that we saw in the business intelligence are integrated. So if you have anomalies and you want alerts sent to department heads or council people, depending upon what's going on in their individual areas, those alerts are completely automated and allow you to take actionable decisions using the tools, whether they're mobile or if you want to work on your desktop. You can take that intelligence and make actionable decisions on it. And finally, we have expense report to reimbursement. So Oracle is completely integrated. It does have expense report that is integrated with mobile. So if you are a person that's on the go, if you're a recruiter for a major university and you're traveling around the country or around the world, you no longer have to worry about tracking those paper receipts. You can use the technology within your phone to scan receipts. It'll also use the GPS within your phone so it knows where you are. You can enter your foreign exchange rates if you are across seas. And then that information can automatically be used to create an expense report for you without having to log into your desktop or lug all those receipts throughout the country with you. Once everything's in and your ledgers are closed, we have period end close the financial reports. Allows you to close your subledgers together all at once or individually. Do a pro forma close, reconcile accounts. Oracle's got some great tools embedded in it. And they just came out with a great new product called Accounting Close and Reconciliation, which is based upon some of the S-based cube functionality that allows you to have schedules automatically generated to reconcile your subledgers and even your balance sheet accounts as needed. Within the Oracle financial system, you can consolidate your subsidiaries, whether that's departments, whether that is funds, or whether that is different colleges if you're a university. Review those financial statements that are generated and then publish them securely. So Oracle security, very robust. You can generate one set of reports, and that security is embedded within them. So if you have a person that logs in that can only see the financials for a single department, you don't need a separate report. Oracle security will allow you to restrict access only to departments that that person has access to see. Talk a little bit about procurement. So procurement can start with sourcing. If you need to get control of your sourcing environment, certainly can do that. Oracle's got a great website that your suppliers can log in. They can allow you to create an RFI or RFQ or an RFP within the tool itself using predefined templates or on the fly. So it can take documents, Microsoft Word, put them out there on an RFP website or an RFI and RFQ website, allow you to develop specs, manage your negotiation. So once it's published using the iSupplier portal, vendors that you want to have access to view this RFP can certainly do so. Respond to it, post questions. All those questions are contained within the sourcing site. They can respond using those tools, and then you can use embedded analytics to analyze and respond, or analyze the quality of those responses and help you score the RFPs using whatever criteria is important to your organization and award the contract, all within the Oracle sourcing model. Once you've awarded that contract, you can then generate a requisition against that RFQ for particular vendors to whom you've awarded the contract, create your purchase orders from that, approve them, and then dispatch the PO and receive against it. So if it's a milestone-based RFQ or RFP, and you generate your PO, as your vendor completes and does their performance, you can do the receipt in there and automatically draw down on that blanket or that purchase order so you can see where you are from budget at any time. And of course, we've got supplier return settlement, and this is really, typically it's used in a receipt environment where you're doing in receipt of inventory items, but certainly you're allowed to do RMA requests from here for services or other goods. Prepare for shipment back if you have to do that, whether you're shipping back paper or office supplies or wherever else it happens to be. Receive the RMA from the supplier and automatically generate a credit transaction in your system if you've been invoiced. Very seamless, as most things in cloud are, and it can be fully automated. Finally, I just wanted to give an overview of project accounting. I think you guys get the idea. All those same flows that I just reviewed for financials and procurement and admissions, those are embedded for project accounting as well. So there are 6 major areas that project accounting covers. Initiating a project plan, whether that is a goal or achievement of your university or county or locality. You get the sponsor. You can determine when you want to set the project up. Go out and get a grant for it. So whether that grant is truly grants management and you are raising funds on the university side, or you are just managing funds on the public sector side, it certainly supports either role. When we do get a contract, whether that contract is for spend or it's for cost, we can support both, and then we can analyze that spend using project optimization. And that analysis leverages built-in analytics or analytics that you can configure based upon the things that are important to your organization. Oracle Cloud is ultimately flexible, and it really does allow you to not only utilize best-in-breed and best-in-class analytics that Oracle has developed, but you can also create your own analytics, your own dashboards, and your own reports for those things that are meaningful to you as an organization. So what do we have coming up? In a few weeks, on April 27th, our partner in this endeavor, a company called Innovus, they are a leading cloud EPM partner based out of New York. Their partner and principal, RJ Linehan, will be leading a discussion about budgeting in cloud. and leveraging enterprise performance budgeting and some of the other tools that Oracle has recently come out with to streamline your budgeting, forecasting, and planning process. And then on May 18th, I'll be doing an encore presentation of a presentation that I gave at Collaborate last week in Las Vegas called Reporting in the Cloud Tips and Tricks. And that really focuses on, if you're on a cloud environment, how to leverage the most of what you have, whether that's Essbase or Financial Reporting Studio or Oracle Transactional Business Intelligence. Both of those sessions will be recorded and available for later consumption on the OUG website. So I had about a half an hour content. We're right on track. I'm going to hand it back over to Colin now to see if we have any questions from the audience.
Thanks, Tom. At this time, we do not have any questions. If anyone does have a question, though, please feel free to type them into the questions box on your control panel, and we will answer them with the time we have left. Thank you.
All right, Colin, well, if there's no questions, I guess we'll let everybody go and thank them for their time.
All right, Tom, that sounds good. If anyone does have any questions in the future about this presentation, please feel free to reach out. Again, this session is being recorded, and we will have it up online on the OAUG website within 24 hours. As Tom mentioned, we do have more e-learnings coming up specifically with the public sector and higher education, so please look for those as well. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Thank you.